Okay, we've got our classic 3-point lighting set up now, and Jamie looks really good. We've got a key light, a fill light, and a backlight. But we aren't done yet. An excellent interview involves more than just making the subject look good. We've also got to create a nice looking background. If you remember, we already spent a good deal of time carefully choosing the location for the interview, so a lot of the work has already been done. If we hadn't thought ahead, it might be nearly impossible at this point to do anything that would look good. Another thing we've done to help light the background is to control the spill from the other lights so the background isn't washed out. We've closed the drapes, used a snoot on the backlight, and put a fabric grid on the soft light to keep it focused right where we want it. In some cases, you'll find it's necessary to move some furniture around, move books on a bookcase, or add some props to the background, and here we've brought in some flowers and a small desk lamp that we found in another room. Our only problem right now is that the background is still pretty dull without any lighting on it, so let's light it up. There are many different ways we could light the background, and none of them would be necessarily right or wrong, just different. We can use colored gels, cutout patterns to cast shadows, slashes of light, or any combination of those things to get the look we want. But in this case, we're just looking for something that looks natural, not theatrical or over the top with wild patterns and colors. To get a natural look with some soft shadows, we need to use what's called a cucoloris, or a cookie. Cookies are cutouts that are placed in front of a light to help add texture to the background. You can buy pre-made cookies, or you can make your own by cutting up some black foam core, poster board, a piece of cardboard, or black foil wrap. Cookies can be used to simulate window frames, light coming through a blind, a limitless number of geometric patterns, with or without colored gels, or simply just to add some soft, random shadowing. Almost anything is preferable to a plain white wall, but be careful about overdoing it. The point is just to add some texture to the scene, not to dazzle the audience with a wild pattern of shadows and color. The cookie pattern I use most of the time is a random pattern that you can make yourself by taking an X-Acto knife and cutting curvy holes in a piece of foam core. 99% of the time I use a cookie, this is the one. We've got a second Lowell Pro light in our kit. This one has barn doors instead of a snoot, and that's the one we're going to use for lighting the background. The background light can be placed anywhere you've got room for it. Again, we're going to use one of our two dimmers so that we can very easily control the intensity of the light. Okay, notice that when we first turn on the light, it just floods the whole wall and doesn't look very good at all. That's what the barn doors are for. We use the barn doors to narrow down the beam of light and restrict where it shines. I like to adjust the barn door so that the light is cut off just inside the frame and the shadows start forming at the edges of the screen. That looks a little better already, but it's still not nice enough. So it's time to bring in our cookie. We've attached the cookie to one of the smallest light stands using the Matthews grip head. It's important to make sure that the cookie can be moved independently of the light. How close or how far the cookie is from the light will really change the effect, so you want to be able to move one without moving the other. The effect we are trying to achieve is just to add some very subtle shadowing and texture to the wall and bookcase. We want it to be hardly noticeable at all. A cookie pattern should not call attention to itself, and if it does, it hasn't been used correctly. It's like makeup on a face or music in a movie. When it's done well, you barely notice it, but take it away and it's definitely not as good. Moving a cookie closer to a light will make the shadow edges softer and less defined. Moving a cookie away from a light will make the pattern stronger and more noticeable. The kind of effect you think is best is just a matter of opinion, but I usually think softer shadows look more natural. The dimmer can be used to lighten or darken the effect. And gels can be added to give the shot some drama. Try different colors to see what you like best.